Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom, brother Naquan.
Shalom, shalom, brother Riot.
Coming back at you with another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. Bashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahushai. And hearty shalom to you mighty men that go out there on the highways and byways to push this truth, risking your life and magnifying the ministry. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They get it built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, studying, being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the aquath out there, the sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing the husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. You got it, King.
Con. And like the brother said, man, you got to be diligent in this thing. We're moving toward the end. Brothers got to be on fire. You understand? And we're moving toward these high holy days coming up, huh? And through the spirit, we're going to go over it, how to touch on it, how to keep it, what it's all about in the spirit, coupled to that which is, to give a better understanding in, right? Because Purim coming in February 13th at sundown, right? So brothers and sisters got to get themselves prepared through the spirit.
Con, yeah, and make sure you mark your calendar, man. Right? Make sure you mark your calendar. Let me get this precept real quick. Is it an echo?
La.
Con, let me get this real quick, Salakia. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1. And I'll start at 15. It reads, Salakia, bear with me. Nahum 1 and 15. You try to mute your side, King. Bible try to see if that help. Con. All right, it's Nahum 1 and 15. Behold, upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, O Judah. Right? The Lord said, O Judah, keep thy solemn feast, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee. He is utterly cut off. So the Lord said, Judah, and really the other tribes as well, keep your feast, man. You got a lot of people saying, well, you can't keep the feast days in captivity. If it's not in the first 5 books, don't worry about it. No, we're going to keep that, man. We're going to keep Purim. Like the brother said, it's February 13th and the 14th. It's a 2-day feast. And the day before Purim starts is one of my favorite high holy days. We love them all, but destruction of Nicanor, and that's one of the top ones, man. So you have destruction of Nicanor that comes this upcoming Saturday night, so-called Saturday night. So you'll have your Sabbath, and right after your Sabbath is done, you'll have the destruction of Nicanor. Then right after the destruction of Nicanor, you have your first day of Purim. And after your first day of Purim, you got your second day of Purim. You see how the Most High got this whole so-called weekend and first day of the week set up for you, man. And you have to keep these feast days. I got another one real quick. Because a lot of brothers, man, you'll keep Valentine's Day before you'll keep Purim. Here we have told you that Purim falls on February 14th, which is the second day of Purim, and a lot of brothers get mad about it. What do you mean? It's going to mess up like Valentine's Day. We're not keeping Valentine's Day. Right? We're not worshiping little white babies in diapers shooting arrows at people's damn butt, man. We're not spending $300 on chocolates and damn teddy bears and going to Zales and Jarrett's, man. Because there are women leaving diamond pictures posted all around the house. Open up the refrigerator, it's a 15-karat diamond, leaving hints and clues. Go on your phone when you sleep, change your lock screen to a damn ring with a stud on it, man. We're not celebrating Valentine's Day, man. All right, we're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Now I was going to get this precept, but you got it, King. Go ahead. You on mute.
Salaki, the water. Right, I want to get this quick precept too. It's a book of 2 Kings, right? Chapter 3 and verse 15. Because you understand, Purim, you don't got to be sad in Purim. Sitting up, be weeping, right? You don't know what to do. There's no music playing. You're just sitting around there and you got your head down, man. No, you give gifts, and we're going to go in-depthly about it, man. And you turn up through the spirit, man. At these high holy days on righteousness, you turn up. People used to turn up in the world in wickedness, man. I mean, people be sweating in clubs, right? People lose their heels. They fight. The so-called the thing in the world used to be free before 10. I used to hear that on the radio all the time. People rushing in traffic. And you got to be like that zealously to keep these commandments, man. What is a greater thing than to commune with your brothers and sisters in righteousness turning up in the Lord, man? It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 3, and verse number 15. It says, but now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass when the minstrel played that the hand of the Lord came upon them. So when you play these musics and you dance and you have a good time, the spirit of the Lord is there, man. And the Lord said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, there am I in the midst of. So you have to commune. Stop trying to keep all of these feast days at your house, man, in your living room. You're losing all your money buying balloons every year. No, get a congregation. Invite people over. Stop being an individual like, man. You definitely want to keep these commandments and commune and righteousness, right? And turn up with your akim waf. You on mute, Ken.
You got a lot. I was saying, it's like you got a lot of creeps on there or out there. They'll order 5 deep dishes for themselves, right? They sit there keeping Purim. They order 5 deep dishes with 5 different toppings just for themselves, man. You know, and they'll take. Now it's not, if you're by yourself and you have to keep it by yourself, then that's what you have to do, you know. But if you have the opportunity and the doorway to join and link up with like-minded brothers and sisters, like, let me get this in Sirach 37. Then by all means do so, man. You don't have to sit around and eat those 5 nasty deep dishes that you get every Saturday night, man. You know, playing some old reggae music, man. Blowing a kazoo, putting a hat on, talking about this is the life. This is it. No, brother, that's not it, brother. You're drinking a Coors Light, you know, and giving yourself gifts in the mirror. You go to every mirror in the house and give yourself a portion and act like you don't know the man in the mirror and say thank you, shalom. Then you give yourself a gift in the mirror and go put it up. You don't have to creep out the feast days, man. You know? Now this is Sirach chapter 37 and 12. But be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So you have to be with like-minded brothers, man. And you have to know what Purim is about too. Don't just say, okay, I'm keeping Purim, and you have no idea what's going on, right? You don't know the understanding, the context, why we keep this day, what's the historical background, what happened on that day. You just said, I'm keeping Purim. You can't do that either, man. And when you was in the world, you knew what these holidays was about. You know, and you had the whole breakdown for Christmas, man. And you knew all of the reindeers. You had the whole damn song. Okay, Rudolph and this one. And you would correct somebody if they messed up. You say, no, his name's Blitzer. You know, you knew the breakdown of damn New Year's, man. And Thanksgiving. You know how to put the damn cornbread in the oven the right time and take the cranberry sauce out the can. And you had the whole thing broken down. You have to get like that for these feast days, man. You might have your favorite Purim dish you make every year. Oh, here comes so-and-so. They come with their favorite Purim dish. You know, you got to get into this thing, man. Hey, we're going to get into it, most high willing. You know, most high willing. Hey, we're gonna get down, man. You know, that's all I had on that.
Con, through the spirit, man. We turned up righteously last new moon, man. Right at the school. You know, it was mighty through the spirit. And brothers actually come together and have a good time, man. Don't be coming together being over righteous, damn, trying to act what you think the Lord act like, man. Just got just mad all the time. Right? No, enjoy yourself, man. Have a good time in this thing. All right, this is Sirach chapter 32 and verse 1. If thou be made a master, so like the master of a feast, lift not thyself up, but be among them as one of the rest. Take diligent care of them, and so sit down. Right? Don't be a nigga at a feast day. The Lord got ordinances and statutes all throughout the Bible how to carry yourself, how to eat, how to have manners, what to do at a feast. Don't just come to a feast, you pop your damn button, man, and you start pigging out. and going off, man, and burping and drinking up all the yan and yelling and screaming and shaking the hand and trying to teach and doing all things out of order, man.
Shaking the hand.
It says, verse 2, and when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place. Meaning certain things have to get set up. Don't be that man, you bring nothing to the feast day. You didn't do anything, you just showed up, right? Like a kid. Like a kid just show up with their parent everywhere. They don't have to pay an interest fee. They eat for free. Don't be a kid, man, right? You have to have some type of discretion in this thing, right? So it says, and when thou hast done all thy office, what's all that office? You can help set up. You can help bring things. You can help bring a dish. You can bring a boom box, right? Whatever it is to help the ministry and the body, you should be one of those brothers that help. You understand? It says what? Take thy place, that thou mayest be merry with them. I'm going to read that again. That thou mayest be merry with them and receivest a crown for thy well ordering of the feast. So you be merry during the feast, man. And you turn up and you have fun in righteousness.
And I mean, our forefathers did the same thing, man. King David, the Lord said there's a time and place for everything, man. Right, let me get this in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Even King David danced for the Lord, man. You know, this Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 1. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Now I'm going to jump down to verse, let's see, I'll start at 4. So there's a time for everything, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. You know, I know certain brothers that get down on the feast days, man. You know, within the congregation, the Lord said it's a time to dance. Well, you don't have to be in a house of mourning on the feast day. Everybody else is having a great time, and you're telling brothers, stop, stop. You're running around, stop beckoning everybody with your hand. Chill, chill, chill. This captivity. Right? Saying Ecclesiastes 7, you show up with Ecclesiastes 7 and 7 on your shirt at the feast day. And Jeremiah 9 and 1. And Deuteronomy 28:68. And Deuteronomy 28 and 34. All up and down your garment, man, with sackcloth and ashes on. Hey, brother, get away from me, man. You know, you going what they say, kill a vibe. You know, you're going to ruin the spirit, man. We're here to enjoy these feast days. We never know how many the Most High has in store for us in the days to come. World War III is about to kick off. Jacob's trouble, race wars. There's massive pestilence on the earth. At any time, NATO could damn fall apart. You know, so you have the opportunity that the Most High is giving you. The Most High, he's strict with the laws and the commandments, but the Most High is also giving his servants a liberty to exercise themselves in the feast days. And I want to get this quick precept real quick in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 21. Right? This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 21. It reads, for there is a man whose labor is in wisdom and in knowledge and in equity. Yet to a man that hath not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This also is vanity and a great evil. For what hath the heart of all his, for what hath man of all his labor and of the vexation of his heart wherein he hath labored under the sun? Many man lives a stressful, painful life, man. You know, we have jobs, man. We work. We have families. We taste pain. Our back hurts. Our knees hurt. Certain brothers have perpetual ailments, you know. And man's life is pretty hard in this captivity, man. It's very hard to live this life. Mentally, financially, you know. That's what Solomon is saying. Verse 23. For all his days are sorrows. And even if you have a so-called good day in this captivity, you still are reminded of bills. You're still reminded of pain. You're still reminded of death. You might get a call that a loved one died. It'll ruin your whole day. You know, you might move one way and your damn back all spaz out. So all our days are sorrows and his captivity. It reads, and his travail grief, yeah, his heart taketh not rest in the night. Because then even if you try to go to sleep, and you're going to start, your mind might have you plague yourself. You'll be overthinking and worrying about this and worrying about that. Like I always say, man, I have dreams about going to work. Who wants to go to sleep? That's the only time to escape, right? That's the only time. And then you're dreaming about work, you know, putting stuff together and making things. Then you got to wake up and go to work. So you don't even get no rest, man, because you're then going to work in your sleep. That's hell. You damn at work, you working a 5-hour shift at night while you sleep, and you got to get up, then you got to work a damn 8-hour shift. That's madness. So what did the Most High say at the end of the day? Verse 24. There is nothing better. Now, Solomon was a wise man, right? Now, listen to what Solomon said. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw that it was from the hand of God. See that? So destruction isn't always from the Most. I mean, well, it is from the Most High, but that's not the only thing from the Most High, right? Damn natural disasters. That's not the only thing from the Most High. Now there's pestilence and famine. What else comes from the hand of the Most High? The Lord giving his son, his servants, the Israelites, the liberty to eat and drink and enjoy the good of your labor. We have feast days that are based off of the increase of the field and the labor of the field. That's from the hand of the Most High. It's not wicked to what we say turn up in righteousness, man. That's from the Lord, right? It reads, now Solomon went further and said, for who can eat or who else can hasten hereunto more than I? Meaning that's essentially saying you can't turn up like me. I'm the life of the party. I could, hey, look, on the feast days, you can't eat like me. On the feast days, hey, I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna be the one enjoying myself the most. That's what Solomon said. He said, who could do it like me, man? I'm gonna have a garment on. I'm gonna put the diamonds in the crown. I'm gonna have the feast days. Nobody's gonna enjoy themselves more than me. It reads verse 26. One more. For the Most High giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. See that? So the Most High can give you wisdom if you're good in his sight, knowledge. Even if you're good in his sight, he'll impart unto you joy. You know, it reads, but to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and a heap up, that he may give to him that is good before the Most High. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. You got it, King.
Con. That's right. Hey, man, them precepts is mean, man, when you go into them. So they not there for you just to read them once when you read the book of Song of Solomon or Wisdom of Solomon or Nehemiah or Ezra. You just read them right over in the context and you just leave them where they are. No, they're to apply. You understand? It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8 and verse 10. Right? This is going into the Feast of Tabernacles, but nevertheless, it's still a high holy day. This is Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 10. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them of whom nothing is prepared, for this day is holy. The Lord said the day is holy, man. That don't mean you just relax. Have a good time, man. Don't be, well, I'll just have one piece of fish. You know, I want to be modest. You know, I don't know about that. I don't know about this. No, brother, eat good, man. Hey, brothers, have a good time. Turn the music up. We don't care if you got Edomite neighbors. That's the last thing on your mind at the feast day, man. We had Esau come up at the damn window, looking down. What you guys going on? We turn up the music, man. And we blow the show for us. They say what? The fat and drink the sweet and send portions. So you can send portions, you understand, on Purim. Right now, it don't have to be you buying somebody a whole damn TV and you going broke. You got to have some type of discretion and discernment. You don't want to be a fool in this thing. Well, I got 100 people in my congregation. No, I don't know. I don't know what to do. You sold everything you had. You didn't pay rent because you was over righteous. Brother, get what you have in this thing. Send portions unto them of whom nothing is prepared, for this day is holy unto the Lord. So if it's holy unto the Lord, it daggone sure should be holy unto you, man. We should follow in every footstep that the Lord has prepared for us to walk in. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. The Lord said when you joyful on his high holy days, it's your strength. Meaning what? You have more fun when you come together. You have more fun when you eat good. You have more fun when you drink. You have more fun when it's music. You have more, it's just strength, man. You have a good time, man. Hey, brothers zipping and running to the feast days, and you know, brothers don't want to leave, and you know, turning up through the spirit. With that being said, you always have a just balance. That's why the Lord put this in here in Sirach, chapter 31, right? In verse number 16. It says, eat as it becometh a man, those things which are set before thee, and devour not, lest thou be hated. I mean, don't be a damn glutton at the feast day. You got 15 to-go plates, and the children didn't even eat yet. And you done stuffed them in the corner somewhere. Like a nigga, man. You don't want to be a nigga at the feast day, man. You got to have some type of respect. It say, lest thou be hated. And people will hate you when you don't have no type of manners, man. I know anybody that's butting in line, you know, it's the second time they ate, and then you didn't even eat yet, you kind of marking that brother. Go ahead. You on mute.
Quick point is tongs to get the food, but they ignore that. So they reach their hand to get a piece of chicken, touch it, and say, I don't want that one, and put it back. Then grab another one, touch it, I don't want that one either.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, that's off. Right. Trying to see if the macaroni and cheese is warm or not. Sticking your hand in it. It say, leave off first for manners' sake, and be not unsatiable, lest thou offend. And I want to look up that word real fast. Right?
Insatiable.
Right? It says greedy, gluttonous, raveling, wolvish, like a wolf, piggish, hoggish. So you don't want to be all of that, man, at the feast days, man. Right? And acting like you never been anywhere. It says what? When thou sittest among many, reach not thine hand out first of all. Then you gotta have some respect, man. Go ahead, brother. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Brother said that all the time. It says, a very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed. So the point of the matter is you gotta have some type of respect at the feast days too. Don't let yourself go. The feast days is not a get out of jail free card to be a nigga and to get drunk, man. So a lot of brothers look at that like now the Lord is giving me the pass to do what I used to do in the world. That's not what that's talking about.
God. And I'm going to add to that. This Sirach 32 and verse 6. Did you read that already?
I've read 1 and 2.
All right, this Sirach 32 and 6. And as a signet of an emerald set in a work of gold, so is the melody of music with pleasant wine. And that's a beautiful thing. If you have like this ring set with an emerald in it, that's mighty, man. The Lord compares that to music and pleasant wine. So, you know, you make sure that you got some music playing, man. And not no worldly old Gucci man. We're not playing Gucci man and 50 Cent at the feast day, man. That's wicked. You know what that would do to the congregation? I mean, all hell would break loose. You got brothers that's weak that just came to the truth, you know. Next thing you know, they hitting up old connects and contacts, and you see them outside in the black car, they go in the car with them, and all hell could break loose, man. Then they get out, they smoked out. So you have to make sure that you remain in a righteous manner, like the brother was going into as well. You know, reading on. Verse 7. Speak, young man. So I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna jump down to verse. Let's see. I wanted verse 4. Pour not out words where there is a musician, and show not forth wisdom out of time. So at the feast day, it's not the best time when everybody's eating, drinking, and being merry to bring out all 5 of your composition books with all of your breakdowns and says, are you ready for me to break this down for you? Here the brother is sitting with his family. Him and his woman are dancing together, and you pull them apart with your bare hands and say, you know what it is. It's time for the breakdowns. Let's go live. He don't want to go live, brother. He's with his woman dancing, man. And you pull him apart. Then you try to pull his son apart so his father ain't know. And then you talk mess about him to his damn son. It's a time for everything, man. You don't have to pour out your, there's a time to show wisdom, and wisdom is knowing when it's a time to show wisdom too. It's not always a great time to show forth your knowledge and understanding. And you'll damn blow somebody's spirit, man. You know, reading on. And we've seen that before. We've seen brothers walk up to us and do this. Why don't you break down so-and-so to us? Right? What do you think this is about? Huh? And they'll wait till you're in your damn third damn drink, man, to ask you. And they'll pause the music.
In front of everybody.
Yep, they'll pause the music and they're watching you, and they want to wait till you're in your third glass of wine, and then they'll roll up on you, will break down the 12 feathers and the 3 heads and the 8 contrary feathers. Now everybody's looking at you, and they're looking at him. You know, I'm gonna jump down. So you got a lot of brothers with bad behavior, and behavior is part of this thing too, man. You have a many precepts that go into behavior and discretion. Now I'm gonna jump down. This is right, chapter 32 and verse 11. Rise up at times and be not the last, but get thee home without delay. So you don't want to be the last one there, right? They want to close up the building, and you're still sitting up there trying to dance, man, asking where'd everybody go? Brother, they're going home. You understand? They have families. You know, they got to make it home, and the stuff that has to be done. Right? You don't take the speaker back from the damn brother running the feast and hook up the aux cord in your headphones, and you still dancing like one of them silent creep parties, man, that they do with the lights off. This is right, 32 and 12. I'm gonna read 11 again. Rise up at times and be not the last, but get thee home without delay. There take thy pastime and do what thou wilt, but sin not by proud speech. So a pastime is a hobby, right? You may be a brother, you like to, I don't know, you like to make clothes, right? You like to make clothes or do something. You have a hobby that you like, you know? You don't have to sit there when everybody's done the feast and you take out this big ball of yarn and your damn needles, and everybody's about to leave, and you take this big old box and start what is that, crocheting or whatever that's called, man. You don't have to do your hobbies and bring your damn you move, you're damn near moving in. The Lord said, there, meaning at home, take thy pastime and do what thou wilt, but sin not by proud speech. And for these things bless him that made thee and hath replenished thee with his good things. So you go home and you say Thawada Yahweh, Bashmi Awashah, for allowing us to have this feast day, and you keep it moving, man. You go home and you praise the Most High for a beautiful night. You know, you don't go home and turn into a nigga. You go home and you bless the Lord, man. At the end of the feast. You got it.
Come. That's right. Bring out this precept. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 28, and verse number 9. It says, a sinful man disquiet his friends and maketh debate among them that be at peace with. And I wanted to bring that out, land me back on what the brother said, man. You don't want to be making debates at the feast, man. A long time ago, we had a brother like that. Every time you turn around, he wanted debate, man. Well, what is this going into? Or why does it say that? Well, what does this word mean in the Greek? Then he whip out a damn manacle and he's looking, and all you hear is Strong's G in the background, man. We don't want to hear that right now. It's a sinful man. So those things are sinful, man. Trying to embarrass brothers, trying to catch brothers drunk. You're sitting up. You don't want to be the brother that's filming everybody all the time. You got that one brother that's always filming somebody. Everybody in Murph, they're having a good time. You got a brother, he got his camera up, and he's zoomed in and he's looking at you. And you don't even know you're being filmed, man. It says, make it debate. And you don't want to debate at a feast day, man. That's the last place you're looking to debate. You may have food in your hand, right? You may have a cup in your hand and some yon. You may be talking to a brother. You understand? You may be going over certain things that brothers, you know, whatever the case may be. You don't want to get interrupted by a nigga, man, trying to overly proclaim his wisdom out of time. It says, among them that be at peace. And it's a time to be at peace in this thing, man. You don't always want to go to battle or always want to debate. It's a time and place for everything. And it's a time to have peace, man. Right? You don't want to damn be feeling like you got to pick up a damn sword at a house of mirth, man, where you enjoying yourself. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 15. It says, then I commended mirth because a man have no better thing under the sun. I mean, what do you have better than mirth, man? That's your little bit of peace in this life, man. I mean, what do you have? You got your family. That's beautiful and enjoyable. You got your aqua in this thing. That's beautiful and enjoyable. But what else do you have, man? What else do you have to have fun? Brothers might play the piano. They may play the guitar. Whatever the case may be. Women, they may sew. Brothers, you know, they may, whatever the case may be. You need a little bit of joy and mirth in your life, man. You don't want to be over righteous. You don't want to be mad all the time, man. You'll bug yourself out and you'll start to hate the truth. If you don't have a just balance, I mean, what do you have, man? For bro, you cannot read all. You got to shower, brother. You got to go to work. I mean, you got to take care of your family. You got to counsel. You can't be over righteous, man. Hey, the Lord turned up. The Lord kept the new moons, man. You understand? The Lord, hey, he kept all of the feast days. It says what? Have no better thing under the sun than to eat and to drink and to be merry, for that shall abide with him of his labor. So you know when you working all day, what do you work all day for? That little teeny penny, man. And what do you do with that penny after you pay the bills? You shave off that little half of a shekel and you go buy whatever you want. And that's your joy, man. You may buy a bottle of wine. You may buy some damn Epsom salt just to soak your feet, man. Whatever the case may be, that's the fruit of your labor. And the same with a feast day, man. You work all daggone month, and then a feast day coming in the new moon. Hey, it's time to turn up. That's that just balance. For it shall abide with him of his labor, the days of his life, which God giveth him under the sun. So the Lord gives you that, man. So you got to take advantage of that.
I want to get this too. This is a classic. This Ecclesiastes chapter 7. So brothers, you got to know how to have what they call decorum and manners. You got to have manners in this thing too, man. You know, this Ecclesiastes 7 and 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So you don't want to be righteous over much either. You understand? Meaning what? Let's say it's a feast day coming around and you're the brother, like I said, you show up with sackcloth and ashes, or you're fasting, right? You're the only one fasting on a feast day and letting it be known. Brothers ask, hey, Ak, why you not eating? Oh, I'm fasting. Why aren't you? Well, brother, because it's a feast day. Why would I fast on Purim? You know, that's not profitable, man. The Most High is not dealing with that fast. You know, so that's being righteous over much. Hey, if you got a nice garment, hey, wear that garment, man. You know, if you got a favorite meal for on a feast day, cook that favorite meal. If you got a favorite righteous song, hey, play that song, man. You don't have to be righteous over much and sit down with your hands in your damn pockets all day, man. Right? You'll end up, like the brother said, you end up destroying yourself. You end up bugging out and falling out. You're the only one at the damn feast day trying to do it live, asking brothers to keep it down. We're not going to keep it down, brother. You know, you bring a microphone and you doing a marathon class back in the corner somewhere, but the speaker's too loud. Well, you didn't have to come in. You could have stayed at home and did that. Verse 17. Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? And you don't want to be in a spirit where now you end up being a fool either. Right? Now you say, okay, well, the brother said we can enjoy ourselves. So now you got alcohol poisoning because you drank 10 bottles of Hennessy and you passed out somewhere in the parking lot and got hit by a car. Well, now, brother, you went above and beyond what the Most High has required of you. You know, you don't want to be over much wicked either. You have to know your limit. You understand? You have to have great conduct. I know certain brothers, they start drinking and look at other brothers' wives, man. You can't be lusting after other brothers' wives. There was a brother that wanted to fight on a Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we knew a brother that said he was going to slam another brother on his neck. At the feast day, he told him basically, shut the hell up. I'll slam you on your neck. Because he was drinking a little too much. And we have to tell the brother, hey, and then, he ain't want to hear it, man. He kind of shoving brothers off. Because you got different types of brothers that get drunk. Some brothers get aggressive. Some get sad. Some talk a lot. Some get really emotional. You got different types of brothers. So you want to make sure you're handling yourself, or the Most High make you make a fool out of yourself. And you get a bad name forever and ever. You got it.
Right. Some get lovey-dovey. One tell you they love you all day.
Yeah, they love you all the time. They hug you. They got their damn hand around your waist. Saying, remember that time? I love you, Ak. Now, you my man. You my brother. You know what? I love you, Arai. You my brother, man. We all know these brothers, man. You don't want to be in that. You don't want to get yourself a bad name. Let me get this real quick in Ecclesiastes.
I got something after you.
I'm going to jump up this Ecclesiastes 7:1. A good name is better than precious ointment and the day of death than the day of one's birth. You see that? So you want to make sure that you get yourself a good name, or you have a good name too. Otherwise you'll end up tearing yourself apart and you'll have a bad reputation and nobody will even invite you to the feast day anymore either. And then you'll definitely be keeping it at home, doing your own thing. But you got it, King.
Khan, I want to touch on, it was a feast day a long time ago. A brother, he was drunk, man, and leaning all with his arm around me. He said, Raya, man, you not like these other niggas, man. I like you, man. Said, come on, brother. What are you talking about, man? You gotta kind of be wise how you rebuke somebody on the wine, but you don't want to be around those type of spirits, man. It'll throw your whole mood down. Next thing you know, you angry, man. Because a spirit, it'll hop on you fast, man. Spirits don't give you a notice, right? You got 3, 2, 1. No, the next thing you know, man, you're angry out of nowhere. You want to leave, right? Anything can happen at a feast day, man, right? So you want to make sure you're around the right people keeping a feast day too. You don't want to invite everybody to the feast day. Your uncle, right, that just got out of prison, right? Your auntie, she always loud and she pick fights with everybody because she think she want to be the top one in charge. You don't want to bring her around, man. This the book, 2 Samuel 6:15, right? Because David turned up in righteousness, man. And if you learn anything through the scriptures, you got to understand, man, our forefathers, they had a good time, man. I'm going to start at 14. It's 2 Samuel 6:14. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, man. You got bodybuilders, they'll lift weights with all their might. They'll damn near pop a blood vessel out of their neck, man, trying to lift that 1,000 pounds, right? David was dancing with all his might, man. You praising the Lord with all your might, you'll lose your voice. You reading with all your might, your eyes will get bloodshot red and you'll fall asleep. David was, I can't even imagine how David was looking. All the cabbage patch and that's old, man. I don't even know what David was doing. We probably can learn some things watching David, man. I'm led to believe he was doing this thing. I was dancing. They had the music out there. And they had them filthy African Congos, man. Or that creepy club music, man. We had an orchestra, had a band, we had a choir. And this was the ancient world. Got the sons of Asaph. They had a whole choir, man. What did that choir sound like? Right now, I believe they got the tenors, the altos, and the sopranos. I believe that's what it's called. And it may be more. You understand? I don't know. That's just the 3 I know. They sitting up there, they going, duh. You know how I used to so-called sound in Christianity? It sounds 12 times better than that in righteousness. And you know what? They was singing the Hebrew, man. Imagine the Hebrew being sung with the music playing and David dancing, man. It said, Salaki, with all his might. And David was girded with the linen of ephod. So he was fresh out there too. You don't want to put on your old rags. David, he was fresh. It's okay to wear frankincense and myrrh. It's okay to put on a garment. The brother got the garment he bought last year he's never wore it. It's just in the back of his closet. Yeah, I can't wait till the day I wear this. Oh, I don't know about this feast day. I don't know about this time. Brother, wear your garment. Your garment's getting old. It's muffin eating, huh? Put it on, huh? Dust it off and put your garment on, huh? You don't want to have you wear your garment once a year. And you don't want to wear it the once a year. No, wear your garment, man. All hell could break loose at any given second. You want to make sure you enjoy yourself as much as you can and be on fire as much as you can with an even balance. It says what? And David was girded with the linen of ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet, meaning they were dancing and turning up in righteousness.
Huh? And we'll actually get into it, man. So you brothers, now you should have somewhat of an understanding on how to keep a feast and how to conduct yourself with great behavior as a king, and I want to get this in Esther. So remember, the topic of this live is also how in-depth breakdown on Purim and destruction of Nicanor. Now, I would deal with Purim first and foremost, right? And I'm not you can read, and everybody should be reading the book of Esther, right? Around this week, leading up to Purim, right? You should be reading the Esther and the editions of Esther in the Apocrypha, right? We know you may be reading Isaiah right now, and you're in Sirach, you may be in the 5th chapter, whatever, but now you got to read Esther. You got to get into Esther in this thing, man. So you know what's going on. You're in that spirit of Purim. All right. Read Esther, and even for the destruction of Nicanor, read the book of Maccabees. You could say, well, I thought I just read it in Feast of Dedication. I don't want to. Well, brother, read it again. And read about the destruction of Nicanor. And you have to read it soon after that for the Day of Simon. Right now, Salakia, this is Esther. I'm gonna read chapter 3 and 1. So when you read the first 2 chapters, you can, like I said, read on your own. You had King Ahasuerus. This is during the Persian captivity, right? During the Persian captivity, King Ahasuerus was upon the throne. Right now, I'll read that in Esther 1 and 1 real quick. This is the book of Esther, chapter 1 and 1. Now, Esther, she's an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, whose real name is Hadassah, and her Persian name is Esther, right? And she grew up with Mordecai. Mordecai is her uncle, but essentially he has fulfilled the law or kept the commandment of being a father to the fatherless. So he plays the role as her father, and she essentially acts on behalf of his daughter, but it's really his cousin, Now this Esther chapter 1 and 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan in the palace. And you can look up a map of the Persian Empire and see how vast this king's empire was. It was literally 127 provinces. Now I'll put that up on the map real quick so brothers can have some type of a geographical setting on what you're reading. And you have to look this stuff up when you're reading, man. You can't, this is not an imagination land, right? Or Middle Earth or some fairy tale land. This actually happened. This is a real account of what transpired in an actual empire. Now, what you're about to look at is a map of this empire. Let's see if I can get a better map. All right, here's one. Can you see this king?
Come.
All right, Salaki. So we're about to show you. Here's the Persian Empire. And out of all ancient empires that ever existed, the Persian Empire geographically is the largest empire outside of modern day Rome in America, right? But in ancient times, it's the largest empire from India. You can look on the map right here, all the way to Ethiopia, covering 3 continents: Europe, Africa, and Asia. Now, here's Susa, right here underneath it. This is where the majority of the story of Esther takes place, and Susa in the palace. This is one of the chief cities of the Persian Empire. You had Persepolis, you had Susa, and you had other cities, but this is really the chief city during the time of Esther, right? Susa the palace. You know, you can even read about that in the book of Daniel. So I'm going to read a little bit more on this. This Esther chapter 1 and 3. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast, and this is around the time as well, around Nehemiah, around his time as well, you know. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even in 180 days. So he showed off his kingdom. Now I'm going to jump down. Verse 10. And these kings live good, man. You know, these kings, they live good, right? When you read that account, he had gold and marble, and he had a feast for 180 days. That's how we're going to live in the kingdom. We're going to have feast for 180 days, man. Forever. Right? Let me jump down to verse 10. Because here's where Esther comes in. I'll start at 9. Esther 1 and 9. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. So he has so much wealth. His woman had a mansion and he had a mansion. Right? Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbana, Bigtha, Abaktha, Zepthar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty. So he kind of went off. You don't bring your woman up in front of everybody so they can look at how beautiful she is. So that's how you know he's not an Israelite. I would never bring my woman up and shut everything down so everybody look at my woman. Hey, that's off, man. You know? So that's what he did. It says, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment. By his chamberlains, therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And next unto him was Karshina, and Shethar, and Admatha, Tarshish, Maris, Marcina, and Mecuman, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. So he talked to his counselors, because this was a big deal, right? It's a big deal when your women defy you in front of everybody, and you're a king. And that's what they knew that back then, right? It's a few more. It reads, what shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. So he said, we got to get rid of this woman. And Mecuman answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princes, and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. So they said, hey, look, if she defies the king, all of our women are going to despise the king. If you don't check this right now, this thing is going to blow up. It's going to rip apart the whole kingdom, you know? And that's a true thing, man, because a lot of women, they would have looked up to her. The king, he don't check his women. What makes you think you can check me? You know, so what essentially the king did when you read this account is he said, all right, we're going to get rid of the queen. He's going to go through all of the provinces, and he got these various women that he could prove to be the new queen. But you got it, king. That's just a quick background.
Khan, and I want to pick up right where the brother left off at, right? It's Esther chapter 2 and verse, I'm going to start at 12. Now when every maid's turn was to come to go in, right, to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months of oil and myrrh. So they had to wash themselves, right, and be, for lack of better terms, pure before the king's eyes for that long. You understand? 6 months of myrrh and 6 months of sweet odors. and with other things for the purifying of the woman. So they had to purify a woman before they could bring her in before the king. You understand? And this is a heathen. How much more us? And Jake got to get themselves together and stop talking to any woman, man. Right? And this is a heathen. And he's going through these different things of purification for a woman. How much more the kings that walk the earth, man? Right? I'm going to jump down to verse. I'm going to get straight down to the point. Verse 17. It says, and the king loved Esther above all the women. So he didn't just have 90 women to look at. He didn't have 75 women. Well, like the brother brought out in the beginning, right? This was a vast province. So there were thousands upon thousands upon thousands of women that were brought before him, man. Imagine seeing thousands of women, and then out of all of them, you see one that's an Israelite, man. That's how women are the most beautiful. It says, and the king loved Esther above all the women. And you gotta put this in perspective. You know, when you read the scriptures, you gotta make it come alive. Now, any Eve, if she's about to go out, she's going to get her hair together. She's going to get that little, whatever that is, that little cream stuff to slick her down edges. She's going to put grease in her hair, whatever y'all do, right? She's going to put her stuff on. She's going to iron her clothes. She's going to make sure she's presentable. Now, when they're coming before the king, right, they're in the most nicest of clothing. They smell good. They have the hair done. Everything's in order. But out of all of those women, Esther excelled them all. It says, and the king loved Esther above all the women, for she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set a royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the province and gave gifts according to the state of the king. It said even Esther's feast. So he did all of this, right, to commemorate Esther and him taking her upon the whole province, man.
It's like, and this is a big deal, man, because Esther, she's the queen. Now, let me make this clear. We don't have queens within our theocracy as a kingdom, right? You don't read about, okay, this queen. You'll hear about queens, but they're not supposed to be queens. And if they are queens, they're going off, you know? So we have kings and our daughters and our women and our wives, our princesses. A lot of women, they read Esther, say, okay, I can be queen. No, you can't be queen. In order to be a queen, Yahushua's not going to have a queen. Where's the Lord going to have a queen at? Right? You got Yahushua, then you got the lucky lady. There ain't no lucky lady that's going to be married to the Lord, man. You know? Or the Most High got a woman up there. The Most High don't have no women up there. Or I thought wisdom. No, brother, that's not what you think. It's not a woman named Wisdom with an afro up there sitting next to the Most High. You know, cooking all of his meals. And the Most High say, all right, hold on. No, man. So our women are princesses. Right? I want to make that clear because a lot of women, you want to be a queen. Right? Now, when you go to that etymology of the word queen, it's nothing nice. And I'm going to see if I could pull that up too. You know? Now, I want to jump down. Right? I'm going to pick up where the brother left off. Now, this Esther chapter 3 and 1. It reads, now Esther's a quick read. It's only 10 chapters, plus within the Apocrypha. So this is Esther 3 and 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. Now, this guy Haman, he's an Edomite. Right? When you go in the Apocrypha, it tells you that he's from Macedonia. Let's see if I can get this in the Apocrypha. So he's from Macedon. And during this time, historically, the Persians and the Greeks had a lot of beef going on. But you had a lot of sellouts from the Greeks that joined forces with the Persians. Remember, this is during the time of the first Persian invasion of Greece and the second Persian invasion of Greece. So you had a lot of animosity between Esau and these Ishmaelites and these Elamites. But Haman, he kind of linked up with them to usurp authority over the kingdom. And we're led to believe he wanted to take that kingdom over and bring it back over to the Greeks under the hand of the so-called white man. You know? Now, let me get this precept about him being a Macedonian. Now, you have to go to the addition to Esther. See, when you go on your phone, they don't really. Let me pull this up. Bear with me. Now, this addition to Esther, right? I'll use my phone, but I don't want to use the phone because they'll give you some wild chapters. So bear with me. All right, this Esther chapter 16 and 10. When you use your phone, they tell you it's chapter 7, but you know it's not a chapter 7 on it. Right? So this addition to Esther chapter 16, and I'll read verse 10. It reads, "For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us." So he was a Macedonian. Now it also tells you he was an Agagite, you know, so he goes back to Agag. So Haman was actually a so-called white man that had a high position of power within the Persian Empire at the time. Now let me go back to Esther chapter 3. Right, let's go back to Esther the 3rd chapter. Right, this Esther chapter 3, and he's one of the worst Edomites that you read about in the Bible. Esther 3 and 2. And actually, the Persians set him above everybody, man. Right, they set him up above even his fellow Persians. So this Esther chapter 3 and 2. "And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bow and reverence Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence." And rightfully so, man. We're not bowing down to a so-called white man. We only bow down to Yahweh Shemiah Washah. We don't bow down to rocks. We don't bow down to a woman. We don't bow down to sticks and stones. We don't bow down to the elements and the sun and the moon. So you had this so-called white man came down, and a lot of you chicks, you'll do that at work, man. You love your boss so much and your job so much, Esau will come down and say, okay, hey, bow down to me if you want to keep your job. And a lot of you jakes, you'll do this and you'll bow down, man. Or you'll go on your hands and feet and put your head to the ground. Hey, Mordecai said, I'm not bowing down to the so-called white man. And we're not, and that's spiritual too, man. Because if you bow down, it can be spiritually. It can be you accept and allow the damn ways of Esau to rule over you. And you submit yourself to the so-called white man's way of life and his doctrines, and it's equivalent to worshiping the beast. So we don't bow down to any so-called white man. Right, let's read on. Then the king's servants, Slakia. Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? And people might get on you. Why won't you bow down to him? You want to lose your job? Right? Do you want to get put to death? Why won't you bow down to the so-called white man? What's your deal? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, he hearkened not unto them. And these demons might try to get you bow down, get you to bow down every day, man. Mordecai didn't listen to these damn demons in his mind, trying to get him to sell out. So this can happen on a spiritual level. Damn demons and spirits trying to get in your mind every day to make you bow down and conform to the beast. Mordecai, he's not doing it. It reads that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. So they snitched on him. For he had told them that he was a Jew. He said, I'm a Jew, man. That's why I don't bow down. All right, you want to know? All right, I'm a Jew. I'm an Israelite. All right, I serve Yahweh Shemiah Washah. Now what? And they was like, oh, you're a Jew. We're telling the king. Oh, hey, this can happen at work, man. I can see this all the time. He's a black Hebrew Israelite. They're gonna allow him to stay here and keep his job. You know, this is what's going on, man. This is how you know this is us, because this fits our life, man. We deal with this all the time. Well, I'm gonna get a few more. I'm not gonna read the whole chapter. This verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And that's going to be, you'll see that happen in these last days. The so-called white man, he knows that we're not gonna bow down. He's gonna make war against us. It says the dragon was wroth with the woman. And he's the dragon now, and he's wroth, man. So you have to, when you're reading Purim, you have to look at it on an ancient context, but also on a spiritual prophetic level too. Because everything that happened aforetime were written for your learning. But that's all I had on that, King. You got it.
Calm. And I want to jump down to verse 10 real fast and then jump to the 4th chapter. Verse 10, it says, and the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hadamanatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. That's the so-called white man, the Jews' enemy. So they already know what was going on. Now, with all of this being said, what came to pass? Let's jump to chapter 4 and verse number 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, right? And we just read it through the spirit. All that was done, all of the crafty plots against them, to take him down, to kill him, and all hell was breaking loose, and they coming to him day by day. It says, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and a bitter cry, right? And when you read these accounts, it's impossible to understand what's going on unless you picture it, man. You have to picture it. When you read these words, you gotta paint the picture about what's going on. It said Mordecai rent his clothes. It's not parabolical. He really got into it. He rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes. And he didn't do it like Jake do it now. Jake take their little finger and then they go like this when they fast. Real modest. No, they picking up dirt and they throwing it upon themselves, man. They actually were getting into it when they were fasting with the Lord, man. It says what? And went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate. For none might enter to the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews. And that's going to happen in the last days, man. When that jab get implemented on a high level to where it's mandatory, and if you do not have it, you cannot enter into CVS's, Costco's, grocery stores, shoppers, all of these different, you can't even pump gas. Can't even go into the gas station, man. All hell gonna break loose, and everywhere the Jews are is gonna be a great mourning. Fasting and weeping and wailing, and many laying in sackcloth and ashes. Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her, right? Because she's in the palace. Then it was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Jumping down to verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer, right? Because she was all the way up in the palace. So they were sending messengers one through another. Verse 16. Go gather together all the Jews. See, this is a mighty sister right here, man. This is a mighty decree. When all hell breaking loose, you got to kind of stand up. This reminds me of what Judith did real fast. I want to pick this up real fast in the book of Judith. This is Judith chapter 8 and verse 11. And they came unto her, and she said unto them, right, meaning the elders, hear me now, O ye governors of the inhabitants of Bethuel, for your words that ye have spoken before the people this day are not right, as touching this oath which ye made and pronounced between God and you, and have promised to deliver the city to our enemies, unless these days of the Lord turn to help you, man. So she stood up and helped the nation, just like Esther standing up to help the nation, man. You don't just have to put your hand over your mouth and cross your eyes and put your head down in your lap, man. You can help as well, man. Right? Women are very important. We're reading about it. It says, verse 16, Esther 4 and 16, go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days. Nights, so like a night or day, I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so I will go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. Right? And that's talking about, when you read this account, it picks up on chapter 5 that nobody could come before the king unless he had, for lack of better terms, put his sword on him and accepted him. Now, if he didn't accept him, she could have got put to death, man. So she risked her whole life for the nation. The king may not have wanted to be bothered. The king could be doing God knows what, going the hell off, and you interrupted, and then the king could have been like, you know what, off with his head. So that's what it means, the law. It's not talking about the law, in the Torah. It says, Salakia, and so I will go into the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. So she was ready to die for her nation, man. How many sisters are ready to do that on men? That takes a lot, you understand, of courage, right, and strength to do that. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him.
And it's like I was saying, you got to make quick decisions. And Mordecai told her, hey, look, you're not going to escape, man. He said, look, when you go into this, I want to jump up a little bit, Salaki. I want to go to additions of Esther chapter 13 and 1, right? And just to go into a little bit of why Mordecai was wailing, right? This additions of Esther chapter 13, and I'll read verse 3. Or I'll start at 2. This additions of Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 13 and 2. After that, I became Lord over many nations, and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption, with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness. I propose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast, to renew peace, which is desired of all men. So this is the king speaking. So he wants peace, and he wants all of the nations to come together. He said, an open for passage to the utmost coast. Now, when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, meaning how do I get all the nations together? Haman, that excelled in wisdom, is the so-called white man among us, and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity, meaning he was a faithful God to the Persians, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations, this is what the so-called white man said, throughout the world, there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, cannot go forward. So they said we cannot unite our kingdoms until we get rid of these Israelites. So we cannot establish our new world order, right? We can't fulfill our illuministic agenda, because now you have one people and they bad talk you, man. This is crafty counsel. They said we're malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations. And we do have laws contrary to all nations. We don't eat what they eat. We don't celebrate their gods or worship their gods. We have our own customs. So we're odd, man. We're different. We don't eat pork. We keep the Sabbath day. It reads, and continually despise the commandments of kings. And we despise the commandment of kings. We did that in Egypt. We did that in the time of Judges. So this is the track record of us as a people. That is how the nations think about us to this day. That's why they call us a hate group and domestic terrorists and all these different labels, because they was doing it back then. They called us a malicious people. That's a hate group. Malicious and malice is hatred. So they were calling us a hate group back then. And they said we cannot unite our kingdoms. We cannot have a new world order. We can't have that Tower of Babel until we get rid of them. Now I'm gonna jump down. Seeing this addition to Esther 13 and 5. Seeing then we understand that this people alone, talking about the Israelites, is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected of our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established. And that's what they think, man. They say we cannot unite the kingdoms because this people is in the way. Therefore have we commanded. Now this is where the concept of the Purim comes from, that the brother was going into while Esther was about to fast and Mordecai was mourning. Therefore have we commanded that all they that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs and is next unto us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year, that they who of old and now also are malicious may in one day, so they want to kill all of the Israelites in one day, go with violence. It's like with violence going to the grave, and so hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled and without trouble. You see that? So what they did, let me get this real quick. What they did was cast lots. And that's what the word Purim means, right? It means to cast lots. Right now, I'm going to jump up in the regular scripture. This is Esther chapter 13. And I'm just like it, Esther chapter 3. And let's see. 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, and the 12th year of the king Ahasuerus, they cast Purim. That is the lot before Haman from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month. That is the month of Adar. Meaning equivalent to casting lots now would be when you take something and it's by chance, rather shooting dice, plucking straws, name out of a hat, whatever the case may be. There's really no true account of how the Persians cast a lot. So they would cast a lot year by year to decide what day are we going to destroy the Israelites. That's where Purim comes from. And they would do that every day till they came up with the day and say, okay, we're going to kill them, all of the Israelites, on the 13th day and the 14th day of the 12th month. And that's why everybody was losing their mind and bugging out and being mourning and weeping and fasting. You know, you got it, King.
Con. And to pick up off of there, you know, another mighty thing that Esther did, you know, when you go to Esther, additions to Esther 14 and verse number 1, right? Hey, a lot of Jakes wouldn't even do this, man. Nevertheless, a woman did it. It says, Queen Esther, also being in fear of death, resorted unto the Lord. And that's what you got to do in times of trouble. You got to resort unto the Lord, man. Not until what's under your bed, not until that bat in your closet, not until your uncle that just got out of prison, man. You got to call upon the Lord. You got to understand, not everybody's going to be there for you. You know, that brother that you fast with, hey, the Lord, hey, he could give up the ghost tomorrow, man. That video, that's your favorite video to watch over and over to get you in the spirit. Hey, guess what, man? The internet could go out tomorrow, right? It says what? Resort unto the Lord. You have to come to the realization that the Lord is the only one that's going to help you. Yeah, the Lord may set up men and women in your circle, in your life, in your congregation, you know, even in your family to help you and direct you and give you counsel. But at the end of the day, the Lord wants you to beseech him. It says, and laid away her glorious apparel. Now, she was rich. She had everything that I could wish for in that palace. So she laid away all of the gold, the silver, the rubies, all of these things. It says, and put on the garments of anguish and mourning. And instead of precious ointments, she covered her head with ashes and dung, man. And that's mighty. The most prettiest woman in all the province took away all of her glorious clothing and apparel, right, and jewelry. And what did she do? She put feces and ashes upon herself, man. That's how you know she really wanted to beseech the Lord. But somebody that really want to beseech the Lord, they'll be screaming, yelling, beating on the walls, and throwing all type of ashes on them, and even put feces on them, man. I know if you could see tomorrow, you will fall out the truth. The Lord snapped you in a trance. I don't even know if half the lot will put feces on themselves, man. I'm about to follow the truth tomorrow. They'll probably try to read 19 chapters straight. No, man, hey, you got to humble yourself in this thing to the utmost level. And that's what Esther did. It says what? And she humbled her body greatly, and all the places, right, of her joy she filled with her torn hair. So not only did she have feces upon her, she ripped out her hair. And ripping out your hair is painful. That's not talking about that little strand, that little hair. You just ripping it out one by one, man. It says with torn hair. She ripped out her hair in this thing, right? Just like Ezra. It said, and she prayed unto the Lord God of Israel, saying, "Oh my God, thou only art our king. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee." Now I want to jump down in addition to Esther 15 and verse 7. And what happened when she humbled herself? Put ashes upon herself, feces. She cried. She fasted for multiple days. She was in a state of mourning, right? She actually believed the Lord could deliver her out of this situation. What came to pass? This addition to Esther 15 and verse 7. Then lifting up his countenance, right? I'm going to start at 6. It says, then having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne. I got to be scared. You come up before the king, and he's all high and lofty on the left-hand side, sitting upon his throne. It says, and was clothed with all his royal, his robes of majesty, all glittering with gold and precious stones. So he was decked out, man. He had gold on. You know, like the kings they let you see in the movies, like the pharaohs and all of those. They got all the drip with the gold on. That's how he looked. And all glittering with gold and precious stones. And he was very dreadful. Then lifting up his countenance that shone with majesty, he looked very fiercely upon her. Now, this is a heathen. And heathens are, they got that strong face. They got them strong, nasty features. Now, if he turned his face and he mad and he's sitting on the throne, right? You can only imagine how fearful that is, man. It says, and the queen fell down, right? Showing how, you understand, how she was humbling herself. And was pale and fainted and bowed herself upon the head of the maid that went before her. And then God changed the spirit of the king into mildness. So the Lord could change the spirit off of anybody. Somebody about to kill you with a damn knife, Lord put a spirit on them, take that spirit off of them, man. Now you gotta imagine this thing, man. You gotta always put yourself like you were there. Like through the spirit you were there, man. Because you may have been there. You may have been in the outer court, right? You may have been one of the men that saw the multitudes. You may have been one of the men that Yahweh Shai fed. You may have been in captivity with Ezekiel. You may have been thrown, you understand, and beat down and had to carry those bricks in ancient Egypt. So we got to replay these things and call these things to mind. It said, then God changed the spirit of the king into mildness, who in a fear leaped from his throne and took her in his arms till she came to herself again and comforted her with loving words and said unto her, Esther, what is the matter? I am thy brother, be of good cheer. That's not her damn brother, man. But the Lord put a spirit on him for him to entreat her with kindly, man. Like the precept, you know, I'm paraphrasing greatly. When a man's ways please the Lord, he make even his enemies be at peace with him, man. So Esther's ways please the Lord, you understand? So the Lord put a mildness spirit upon Artaxerxes, you understand, for her to be able to be saved. And brothers got to see how deep that is in the spirit, man. That's what humbling gets you. That's what actually beseeching the Lord and crying out gets you. It says what? Esther, what is the matter? I am thy brother. Be of good cheer. Thou shalt not die, though thou commandment being general, come near. And so he held up his golden sepulchre. So she was supposed to be put to death in actuality. But he held up his golden sepulchre, it says, and laid it upon her neck and embraced her and said, speak unto me. So she would be able to speak, to be entreated for the part of the nation. Herself through the spirit.
God, that's right, man. So you got to get into this thing, man. You know, because hey, if she walked in there and the king didn't call her, she'll get put to death. I believe that's written. They say, okay, if you don't go in there and the king don't hold out the scepter to you, you get destroyed. So her life was on the line, you know, and she had to do what she had to do. She had to make moves, right? Now, I'm going to jump up a little bit, right? Let's go to the book of Esther. Like I said, this is a mighty book, man. You don't have to read Revelation, the 15th chapter all day, man. You know, and try to do the in-depth breakdown of Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Now, you got to know those prophecies. If you know, a man of the Lord, you're out there on the highways and byways, but you have to also know, your history of your nation, right? And the mighty acts of your forefathers and foremothers of old. Now, this is the book of Esther, chapter 6. Actually, I'm going to go to chapter 7 and 1. It reads, so the king Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. So what happened was Esther set up a banquet. This was the plan that the Most High gave her to overthrow Haman and overthrow his council, So the king of Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the 2nd day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to half of the kingdom. So he said, what's your request? Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition and my people at my request. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I have held my tongue. Although the enemy cannot countervail the king's damage. So she told the king that me and my people are about to be destroyed. Now the king, he knew that Haman was going to destroy particular people, but Haman never said that it's the Israelites. He said there's a malicious people and they defy the laws, just get rid of them. So the king, in his lack of wisdom, said, okay, well, just get rid of them. So Esther is letting them know that the people that you signed this letter to kill are my people. And the man that wants to do it is the white man. So now the king, because now he knows he's been lied to. He's been essentially played. Now, another part of this Purim or this lots is, let me jump up. I want to go back real quick. I thought of this quick point. This Esther chapter 4 and 14. The Lord set up Esther to do this. If the Lord wanted another woman to do it, he'll do it. If the Lord wanted the spirit of another sister to do this thing and overthrow the council of Haman, it would have been done. The Lord wanted Esther to do it. That's her lot. That's the spiritual part of Purim too. Everybody falls in their lot, and your lot is essentially, for lack of better terms, your position that you have been randomly selected to fulfill. Like Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a prophet. He didn't have no option. The Lord don't give you a sheet of paper and a third heaven and say, okay, what do you want to be? A blacksmith? Do you want to make shoes? Do you want to make balloons? Or do you want to be a prophet? And Jeremiah, the spirit swirl around and then scorch out fire on the prophet, check off prophet. No, it don't work like that. The Most High puts you, everybody has a lot. That's why Mordecai said this Esther chapter 4, because who knows? Nobody else could have came up with that plan but Esther. Right? This Esther chapter 4 and 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. Meaning, look, if this commandment goes out, you're going to die too. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. Now listen to what he said. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Meaning, look, this is why you're here. Who knows? The Most High could have put you in this position just to deliver us. That's what he's saying. He says, who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So that's the lot that Mordecai is speaking about. So you have the concept of lots all throughout this account, right? The lot fell on Esther to be chosen, right? The lot fell on Israel to be destroyed at this day. And the lot fell on Esther at this time to be set up to take down Haman, you know? And the lot fell on Haman was making a gallows all night to hang Mordecai, man. And it just so happens that the king couldn't sleep all night. Now the king can't go to sleep because the gallows are being made. Then he reads an account about Mordecai. Then he delivers Mordecai. And this whole thing is all set up, you understand, by Lot. Now I want to get this precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Acts. Right, I want to get Acts the first chapter just to show you what a lot is. Right, or how it was used. So I can bear with me. How it was used in the ancient times. All right, let's go to the book of Acts. This is Acts. Now they had to decide the final apostle. Right after Judas committed suicide. You know, Acts chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 20. For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate, and let no man dwell therein, and let his bishopric, it's like in his bishopric, let another take. So this is the apostle saying we have to replace Judas Iscariot. Right? It's written in Psalms chapter 109. Wherefore of these men which have companied with us all the time that the Lord Yahushua went in and out among us, beginning from the baptism of John to the same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. So they had to ordain somebody to replace Judas Iscariot. And they had qualifications they had to meet. The main qualification is they had to have been with Yahushua from the time he got baptized to the time he went up into the chariot. So there was a lot of men that was there. And they appointed two, Joseph called Barsabas, who was surnamed Justus, and Matthias. And they prayed and said, Thou, O Lord, which knowest the hearts of all men, show whether of these two thou hast chosen. So these are the two finalists. And somebody has to be one of the 12 apostles, that he may take part of this ministry and apostleship from which Judas by transgression fell, that he might go to his own place. And they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell on Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. See that? So Matthias didn't know that he was going to be one of the 12. He wasn't even up there, man. But you see how the spirit works? You never know what your lot is going to be, man. Everybody has their own lot. Everybody has their own position that has been randomly selected, really chosen by the Most High, but it's random to you. It's been chosen by the Most High, and it gets deep, man. I'll say that gets deep. So I want to get one more King Salaki. This Jeremiah 1:5. Real quick, this Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee prophet unto the nations. So Jeremiah his lot was to be a prophet, and there's nothing he can do about it. Even when he wanted to go and hide, the spirit turned up in him, and he had to go out there and do the work. So even if you're a prophet and you say, I don't want to go out there and teach anymore, I'm done. No, that spirit, the Lord gonna say, what the hell are you doing? That spirit going to heat up on you, and you're going to get up. Damn, here I go again. And you're going to start shaking the hand, man. And you're programmed by the Most High. You got it, King.
And that's deep when you think about it, because you don't got no power over your own spirit, like Ecclesiastes 8:8 say, man. No matter what you want to do, a lot of people when they were kids, they wanted to be a damn firefighter, or they wanted to be whatever the case may be. They wanted to be a basketball player, a football player. You can't map out your life in this thing, man. It's all of the Lord. Nobody knew that they was going to be out there shaking the hand. I never thought in 1,000 years that you could have church outside, man. I didn't even think that was possible when you was in the world. You're so traditional. You got to have a building. You have to have the organ. You have to have the choir. Like you have that. Where's all of this in the Bible, man? None of it's there. right? This is Jonah chapter 1 and verse 7. And they said, every one to his fellow, come, let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. So when all hell was breaking loose and the ship was being rocked, they said, you know what? We got to figure this thing out, man. We got to cast a lot to see where all of this evil was coming forth. They cast lots, and guess what? The lot fell on Jonah. The modern day lot that a lot of brothers cast would be like a quarter, right? Or a dime, a penny, something like that. Something that has two sides or something. You don't want to have a lot. It's 15 different ways. It's 15 different answers, right? And you're trying to make your luck. That'll be going off, man, right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse number 33. And another thing, you don't want to cast lots over every little thing. You'll be going the hell off, man. You know, should it be spaghetti or should it be chicken? And then you say in the Lord's name, and he cast in that's off. The Lord will kill you, man. You don't want to come before the Lord with reasonings of men and foolishness, man. The Lord will kill you, man. Right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposal thereof is of the Lord. So no matter if you feel like though it's right or it's wrong or what's going on, when you cast that lot, the whole disposal thereof is of the Lord. This Proverbs 18 and verse number 18. The lot cause of contention to cease. So like the priest of the brother Paul, what if the disciples, right, they were scratching their head. They didn't know what to do. It may have been a little contention of who to pick. These three brothers may want this brother. The other four brothers, they met with this brother. And you know, all hell breaking loose. That contention is going to cause it all to cease. Why? Because the disposal thereof will be of the Lord. The lot is caused. Salakia, the lot is cast, causing contention to cease, and partnereth between the mighty. So that lot will be mighty because on a deeper level, you get a quick answer from the Lord. When you go to the book of 1 Samuel, right? Chapter 28 and verse number 6. It says, and when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, right, nor by prophets. So the priest will have the Urim and the Thummim, which will give a quick answer to dispose on the situation. So lots and all of these things, they're biblical in the scriptures. And our forefathers used them, and we use them to this very day. You know, man, you don't want to lean on your own understanding. You have counsel, and that counsel will only bring you up to a certain degree. What if all your counsel is 4 men that agree one thing and another 4 men that agree another thing? You know, you want to lead the disposal thereof of the Lord. You want mute, Kim?
It's like about the water. This Joshua chapter 7 and verse 16. Now you read the book of Joshua. Remember, Achan, he went and stole a Babylonian garment and a piece of a golden wedge, right? So they have to figure out. I mean, you have millions of Israelites out there, and they're trying to figure out which man is the reason why our people fell in battle. You can't go around and just ask everybody, did you do it? Who did it? You'll be out there for years, man, asking a million people who did it. So we had situations we can cast a lot for on an entire nation, man. Right? And this is what happened in Esther chapter 7, because you got to figure out who this is. Now, again, you like the brother said, you can't cast lots on folly. Should I take a shower or a bath? Right? And you try to figure out, what do I do? And you damn flip a coin, man. That's madness. Do I want to slide in her DMs? Do I want to slide in her DMs? And both of them married. And you want to cast a lot. Brother, you have to make wise decisions. Or the Most High. And then when you cast a lot, you have to say the Most High's name. Right? You have to say, may the Most High cast the perfect lot. And the name of his son Yahushua. And then you cast your lot. That's what Saul did when he was in his somewhat in his right mind in the book of 1 Samuel. You know, but let me read this in Joshua chapter 7 and verse 16. So Joshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes, and the tribe of Judah was taken. So he cast lots, the lot fell on Judah. And he brought forth the family of Judah, and he took the family of the Zarhites, and he brought the family of the Zarhites, man by man, and Zabdi was taken. And he brought his household man by man, and Nicanor, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, or Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken. And Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord, God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done, hide it not from me. So they cast lots to figure out what happened, man. Hey, man, a fire might break out at the school, you know, and we want to know what happened, man. It's the middle of the feast day, and we have discernment. Okay, this is judgment from the Most High. Something happened. Who was doing dirt? And we'll cast a lot. And a lot might fall on the brother. Brother, what did you do? Yeah, brother, I was bowing down to the cross before the feast day. This is why these things have befallen us. And we'll have to get rid of that guy, man. So you can use the lots, in many situations. One more quick precept. This is Revelation, the 10th chapter. Right? This is Revelation chapter 10 and 9. This the Lord talking, or the angel and John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos. Revelation 10 and 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And that book he took is symbolic for the Bible. It's knowledge. Here's the point I want in verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So that's John's lot. He's a prophet forever. Every time he comes on the earth, he's some type of prophet. And there's nothing he can do about it. He said, yeah, you're going to die, but when you come back, you're going to do this again. And you can't escape. You can try to be a doctor. Hey, Jonah, he tried to escape his lot, man. And the Lord swallowed him up with a well and put him in hell. Not a fiery place underground, but affliction. You can't escape your lot. If you're a prophet, you're going to be a prophet. No matter what your goals you had in the world, if you meant to be a righteous wife, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't kick against the pricks like the Apostle Paul. Even Yahushua said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Don't you know you're the chosen vessel? What's your deal? Right? Don't you go out there and prophesy? So even the Apostle Paul, he didn't know that he was going to be an apostle. Yo, this thing gets deep, man. And your wife is set up by Lot. A Ruth met her husband by Lot. She was going through the field, and it just so happened to land on Boaz's field. Right? I tell you that in the Ruth. Let me get that real quick. One more. Right? It said in her, I was reading that the other day, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. I said, well, damn, that's a predestination. Right? This Ruth chapter 2 and 3. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And she didn't know where she was going. And her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging to Boaz. Right unto Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech. So Ruth didn't even know that was Boaz's field. The Most High set that up. Her lot amongst all of the great fields in Judah was to land on this man's field. So even your husband is appointed to you from the beginning. And your wife is appointed to you from the beginning by Lot. You got it.
That's right. Yeah, that's deep, man. Like these scriptures, they get deep, man. There is nothing is just on a surface level when you read it. It's always double to that which is. The Lord always peels back more and more understanding the more you search. That's why you just can't read the Bible once or twice, man. You got to keep reading it over and over because you find something new. Whether it be a landmass, something in etymology, or whether it be a word, whether it be a man, right? Or whether it be something in the spirit, man, you're always uncovering something new, right? It's the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 13. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days, man. So whatever you do, wherever you go, whoever you talk to, you're gonna stand in your lot at the end of days, man. No, and you can't stand nowhere else, man. If you're an Israelite, you'll always be an Israelite. You're not gonna come back a Moabite, right? Then you're gonna come back an Edomite, then you're gonna come back a damn Ammonite, then you're gonna come back an Israelite, and it's all you just better hope your damn lot fall when Yahweh Shah come back as being an Israelite. You switch tribes every time you come back. That's folly, man. If you're an Israelite now, guess what? You were an Israelite back then. If you're a Moabite, you'll always be a Moabite, man. The Lord dealing with spirits in a bloodline. He created your spirit to do certain things. The 12 were with the Lord from the foundation of the earth. They're elected spirits created towards him. Now, there's nothing that they can do about it. When you go to the book of Psalms chapter 16, verse 5, it says, the Lord is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. So your lot will always be maintained. It's not going to switch up. The Lord is not with confusion. When you die, you're going to go to the third heaven. The Lord is going to take your spirit. It's going to come back in his respected lot. You were a heathen, if you were an apostle, whatever you were, hey, guess what? You're going to come back into that again, man. That's why let me pull this real fast. That's why the Lord said this. All right, bear with me. Let me pull this out real fast. It's the book. Yeah, I don't want to read too much, go too deep into it, right? Salaki, bear with me.
Make a quick point, real quick.
Come on.
I've heard brothers say that casting lots is wicked. They say it's witchcraft. Right? There's a word called cleromancy for it. Right? They say you're putting you're chalking it up to the spirits. No, that's not wicked, man. Casting lots is not witchcraft and it's not sorcery. The Most High cast lots. The brother read that in Proverbs 16:33. Everybody's spirit was up there in the third heaven, and the Most High cast a lot, and your spirit, it just so happened that you became an Israelite. Or the Most High made you an Israelite. I mean, you could have been a dog, man, an actual creature, a leaf, a tree. The Most High said, "I made you an Israelite." You got it, King.
It says Matthew 16:13. When Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elijah," right? Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. They were saying that because of the spirit that he was coming in. And they knew that that spirit was back on the earth. They knew that manner of man was back on the earth with the same zeal, the same authority, the same prophesied, and the same strength, the same understanding, right? All of that was back on the earth. And they knew that, man, right through the spirit. And I want to get something real fast. Even in the spirit, when you go to I believe that's 2 Kings, what is that, 1:7? Salaki, bear with me. It's 2 Kings chapter 1 and verse 7 and 8. It says, "And he said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words?" Talking about Elijah. "And they answered him, He was an hairy man, and girded with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite." So Elijah, you understand, he was hairy, right? He had the big beard, he was girded up, right? He was a rough man, you understand? When you go to the book, right, of John, matter of fact, let me get that in Matthew real fast. When you go to Matthew, the 16th chapter, and the Lord said, this is Matthew chapter 16, right? And verse number, this whole thing is crazy. I'm going to start it, bear with me. Matter of fact, I'm going to get Matthew 4. I'm going to pull that one and come back to that. It's Matthew chapter 4, chapter 3 and verse 1, Salaki. "In those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judea and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And this is he who was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye a way of the Lord, make his path straight. And the same John had his raiment of camel's hair, and a leather girded about his loins. So if you know Matthew chapter 17 and verse 10 all the way down, and various other precepts in the Gospels, the Lord is letting you know that Elijah is John the Baptist. He came in the same spirit. He's girded up. He's rough. He's hairy. He dressed the same way. He came in the same spirit. He was the same man, man. You're not going to be something completely different than you were in the ancient world. You're going to come in that same boldness, that lion-like, that war, that understanding, and that zeal. It says, and the same John had his raiment of camel's hair and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. Right? Damn near saying he's a rough man. Right? And when you go, you got it, King. I'm gonna come back to this precept.
Okay, I'll go real quick. Salaki, I was on mute. All right, now, even dealing with lots real quick, our homeland was divided by lots, right? When you look at the different portions for the 12 tribes, certain tribes have larger portions than other based off of our population and based off of lots. Now I'm gonna show you this on the screen real quick. You can look this up on you can look this up on your own. Everybody has this map in the back of your Bible. Right? Can you see this, King? Is it showing up? So you're looking at the 12 tribes by lot: Asher, Naphtali, West Manasseh, East Manasseh, Gad, Ephraim, Dan. These are the 12 tribes, but these lands were divided by lot. Now I'm gonna read this in the book of Joshua, chapter 8 and verse 7. Right? Actually, I'll read 6. Ye shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. So it's not a random chance that Judah received this portion. It was by lot. The Most High set that up from the beginning. You know why? Because that's where Jerusalem is. Now, I believe by lot, Jerusalem falls in Benjamin, but it's often associated with the children of Judah. You know, because Yahweh Shai, he would have to come out of Jerusalem and out of Judah. So this city of Jerusalem geographically was already here before Israel even came in the land. So by lot, it just so happened that Judah would be where Jerusalem was, because that would be the prophecy. And Bethlehem. Yahweh Shai came out of Bethlehem. You know, and that's why Judah's portion fell on where the city of Bethlehem was. And these other tribes, you know, every tribe received their land by lot. So there was no this well, I want this land. This has the most wheat, or this land has the most gold, or this land has the most the wells and plains of water. No, everything fell by lot, and Joshua actually did that. He had the elders of the men, and they had to go out, describe the land. He cast lots, and they have to take their land back. Right, you got it.
Khan, I wanted to pick up on Matthew chapter 11 and verse number 8, talking about John the Baptist. It says, but what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Because all throughout the Bible, from the old to the new, John the Baptist, he's clothed very rough. And that's the spirit that he's in, man. Our forefathers, they didn't have all of these things men have now. They got earrings all in their top ear. They got nose rings. Right, they got an effeminate. Jake got an effeminate spirit now, man. Our forefathers were men and they look rough. It says, but what went ye, Salakia, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. So the Lord's bigging up John the Baptist. And through the spirit, when you go to 2 Kings, the 1st chapter, you can see the similarities through the spirit. And when you go to the Gospels, you can find out that he's John the Baptist. So that lot always maintains even the spirit that you're moving in. You understand?
Hey, they cast lots for Yahweh's garment. You know, when you get that that's written in the Psalms. And it was fulfilled, right? This Psalms chapter 22 and 17. I may tell all my bones, they look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. You see that? So they even cast lots. The Romans did that. And a wicked Jake for Yahweh's garment he had, because he had a nice garment. It was like a priestly garment, the same way that a high priest garment was made, woven. I tell you how it was sewn and weaved out. That's why they cast lots for his garment. You don't cast lots for a damn rags, right? Nobody wants that. And you're fighting and casting lots over a beautiful garment, man. So Yahweh had like a priestly garment on before he got crucified. And they actually robbed him. They stole that, man. How do you steal a garment from the Lord? You know? So, you know, lots run all throughout the Bible, and Esther is it deals deeply when it comes to lots. You got it, King.
Right. And going back to Esther, right? Picking up from where brothers left off. This Esther chapter 8. And I'm gonna start in this whole thing, man. I'm gonna start at 8 and 15. It says, and Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel, and of blue and white, and with a crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen, and purple, and the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor, man. So this thing, you got to turn up. It's in the spirit that you're in. You understand that Purim would dictate whether you've even read the book of the book of Esther or not, man. And you may not even know it, man. So if you reading it and you know the spirit behind it and what was going on, how could you not be happy? This is when the Lord delivered us out of the hand of our enemies, man. It says what? And in every province and in every city, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast. A feast is in two sides. You don't get one plate with a bunch of rice and gravy, and you stick the chicken right in the middle, and you chop it all up. No, man, it's a nice feast. You got to have a spread in this thing, man. Right? You got to do what you got to do. A good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. So you got to know, man, the fear, you understand, that the Israelites fell upon all the nations. Shows our might, our strength, right? It shows how the king gave a decree in the 9th chapter, right? If anybody would have come up against us, that we could put them to flight, how we have a feast, how the Lord delivered us. All of this goes into Purim. I'm going to jump to Esther chapter 2, right? Real fast in verse number 1. Now in the 12th month, that is in the month Adar, in the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the province of the king Artaxerxes to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all the people, man. So the fear of the Jews fell upon all the land, man. Imagine being scared. Everybody's scared of the Jews. Everywhere they walked, every province, every city, they lifted up their head. Everybody was in fear because the Lord was with us in that day, man. You got to understand it. You got it, King. You on mute.
Okay, I'm going to go to Esther, the 9th chapter. So that's a day of rejoicing, man. I mean, that's a great slaughter. The Most High is with you to kill all of your enemies. And the Most High gives you how many men were killed. The Lord says, okay, in Shushan, they killed this many men. And the other provinces, they killed this many men. And on the spoils, we didn't lay our hands. Meaning that wasn't a battle to pillage the spoils of war. That was just defending yourself and being grateful for the mercy that the Most High gave you. So you couldn't go in that spirit of saying, okay, we took the heathen down. They tried to take us down. Now let's break in their houses and light the whole city on fire. It wasn't that kind of battle, you know. Now, when you go to Esther, the 9th chapter, Let's go to Esther chapter 9 and verse 13. I'll start at 12. And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men. And I'll eat and drink to that, man. Our forefathers killing 500 of damn heathen. See, the thing about it is, like I always say, all holy days have some type of underlying principle and morals, man. I mean, these worldly holidays, what's the background behind? It's nothing but rape, rob, and murder and demonic activity. Isn't Christmas about, we already went into that. That's about nothing but Satan. Thanksgiving is about rape, rob, and murder. July 4th, you was in captivity getting raped and buck breaked on July 4th, man. Halloween is demonic. You understand? Damn President's Day, that's Slave Master's Day. Columbus Day. I mean, these days they have no significance for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, except you being a victim of damn Edomite violence, man, and oppression. But with our holy days, it's the other way around. See, our holy days is the other way around. Our holy days is about how the Most High delivered us and how these people, these enemies, these heathen, are now the ones being destroyed. And they don't want us to keep that, man. Right? Because imagine all of the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans keeping a day where you killed plenty of heathen. And they'll shut that down, man. It'll be a different spirit on a average Israelite out there, even in the world. If they grew up with this heritage, they would be looking at their enemies. They'll be looking at the so-called white man crazy around this time of the year. Every Edomite, I'm thinking about Haman. You know, I'm thinking about Haman and what he did when I'm at the plantation. I'm thinking about these things, man. We're in the spirit of Purim. We're thinking about lots. We're grateful for the lot that the Most High has for us as far as we know right now. You know, we're thinking about the deliverance, how the Most High delivered us. That's why I said you should be reading Esther around this time of the year, man. There's only 10 chapters plus the Apocrypha. You know, it's a lot going on. Now, this Esther chapter 9 and 12, right? It reads, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men and Shushan the palace. And the king and the 10 sons of Haman, what have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? And what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee, or what is thy request further? It shall be done. So the king said, yeah, your people killed these heathen. What more do you want? What else do you want? What did Esther say? And a lot of women in the world, they wouldn't make this request. Here you have the king of the known world at the time asking the so-called black woman, what do you want? Ask it, I'll give it. And a lot of women, they'll say weave, more food stamps, them new a Birkin bag, some shoes, maybe a house and a car, you know, maybe a multiple men, a side dude who's very sneaky to abort their baby, to stumble across $1 million. That's what worldly Eve is thinking about. A new iPhone, nails, for that bitch down the street to drop dead that she hates so much because she took her man. That's what Eve would ask for now. What did Esther ask for? Right? Yeah, bundles of weave. That's madness. This Esther 9 and 13. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according to this day's decree. She said, hey, we want to double up, man. Let's double up. Now, she didn't have to do that. She could have said, okay, 500. Okay, all praise to the Most High. I'm content. She said, hey, double up. Hey, so her mind, she had a vengeance kind of mind. She had a mentality. Hey, I hate these damn people, man. You don't do that to, she's not a coon. You don't do that to people that you don't, you know, you're neutral about. She said, hey, double up. She said, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow, also according to the day, this day's decree. I mean, let's kill 500 more men. It reads, what else did she do? And she didn't even have to do this part, but this is Eve. This is Eve in her right mind. And let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows and lynch them damn devils too. She went out of her way to lynch 10 white men. I mean, what Eve is doing that now? I mean, she didn't have to do that to those sons. I mean, those are his sons. She doesn't really know what they said and what part they had in this, but she don't give a damn, right? Oh, those Edomites, hey, she hated them, man. You can tell she hated the so-called white man. She said, lynch his 10 sons, and I'm led to believe she wanted to watch it. So this one, Eve and Israel, Benjamin, Judah, the tribes, they was in the spirit. It reads, and the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree, and you know she was geek, man. She was smiling from ear to ear, right? And the king's commandment, Salakia, it so to be done, and the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. Now I'm going to jump down. Verse 17. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same, rested they and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month of Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. It reads, and Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far. So he wrote this decree out, but it was of the Most High. It's not in the Torah. You're not going to find it in Deuteronomy or Leviticus. Thou shalt keep Purim and the fifth. No, it's not in there. You have commandments that are added on a surface level throughout time. So he said to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. So that's what you do, man. It's a day of feasting. It's not a Sabbath, right? You can't say, well, it's a Sabbath. It's not a Sabbath. It's a feasting. You understand? And if they're linking up with one another, it's a holy convocation. Like all of the feast days, even the Day of Atonement is a holy convocation. Now, it's also, you send portions one to another, right? That can be food, it can be feasting, it can be material things, and you're supposed to give gifts to the poor too during those days. But it's not a Sabbath, meaning, you know, you could cook. You understand, and there's certain restrictions that aren't applied to Purim or to the destruction of Nicanor. It would have been written. You know, you don't want to add on there certain statutes that's not on there for Purim. You know, so you can cook. You know, you can do your thing on that day. You got it, King.
Khan. And I want to pick up right where the brother left off. It's additions to Esther, right? Chapter 16 and verse number 18. It says, for he that was the worker of these things is hanged at the gates of Shushan with all his family, God who ruled all things, speedily rendering vengeance to him according to his deserts. Therefore, ye shall publish a copy of this letter in all places, that the Jews may freely live after their own laws. So not only were we made, you understand, free out of that situation, and the Lord delivered us, now we living freely after our laws. You got to keep all of this in context. We're in slavery, right? It says we can live freely after our own laws, and that ye shall aid them, that even the same day, being the 13th day of the 12th month Adar, that they may avenge on them whom in the time of their affliction shall set upon them. So we can avenge whoever we want to do on that day, man. This day is mighty through the Spirit. Imagine one day you can avenge, you can keep your laws. 2 days, you can avenge, you can keep your laws, you can send portions, you can give to the poor, you're dealing with charity. It's so much that's going into this day, man. Don't just get drunk and be a nigga, man. Keep in mind all of these things and all of these decrees that the Lord is bringing forth. And that happened, that come to pass in those days. It says, for the Almighty, matter of fact, I'm going to read that again, verse 20. And ye shall aid them that even the same day, being the 13th day of the 12th month Adar, they may be avenged of them whom in the time of their affliction set upon them, man. And when you avenge somebody, you take sweet. Vengeance is sweet, man. You got an apple in its ripeness when you bite it and all the juice come out. Like you got that plump grape from the vine and you eat it and all the juice just is ripened and it's plump and you bite into it, man. Hey, vengeance is sweet, man. Imagine getting vengeance, man. And Jake don't know that feeling. If it's one thing Jake having an experience in captivity, it's vengeance. Yeah, we felt the Holy Spirit, which is beautiful and undescribable. We've prophesied it. We dream by night, you understand, and had visions. We've prophesied. We've seen destruction. We've seen earthquakes, volcanoes. We've seen a lot. We've seen the Lord speak. But it's one thing Jake haven't seen yet that we're on the edge of our seats for is damn destruction. It's damn recompense. It's vengeance, man. It says what? Upon them whom in the time of their affliction shall set upon them. For Almighty God have turned to joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished. So we should have perished in that day, but the Lord turned it into joy, man. And that's beautiful through the Spirit. So when you read this, you have to understand all the nations supposed to be dead. That decree was supposed to come to pass. The so-called heathens, they were supposed to reign and prosper, but the Lord turned the hand upon them and raised up his people. It says what? Ye shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep it in high day with all feasting. So it's not just put off to the side just because it's not in the Torah. The Torah. You say, well, you know what? I don't know about that. You're brushing it off like it's not important, man. Lord said, keep it with all the feasting, that both now and hereafter there may be safety to us and the will affected. Persians, but to those which conspire against us, a memorial of destruction. So what is Purim? A memorial of destruction, man. Purim is literally a memorial of destruction. Me, man. It says what? Therefore, every city and country, whatsoever which shall not do according to these things, shall be destroyed. So if anybody didn't want to get down with the footsteps the Jews was moving in, guess what? They was going to get put to death, man. And that's me. Imagine the Lord giving you the decree in righteousness, whatever step you moving in to take vengeance and the spirit you moving in, hey, if they don't get down with it, they going to get hung, beat, or slain. It says what? Therefore, every city and country, whatsoever which is not, so like it shall not do according to these things, shall be destroyed without mercy, with fire and sword, and shall be not made in holy, so like only impassable to men, but also most hateful to wild beasts and fowls forever. So those men carcasses will be what? Nothing but meat for the fowls of heaven and the beasts of the earth, man.
God. So, hey, man, we love Purim, man. Hey, if you want to know how to keep a feast day and turn up in righteousness, hey, you might want to check out Watchmen for Israel, man. You know, hey, these brothers like to do their thing. I'm trying to keep up. I try to keep up with these brothers, man. I feel like an old man trying to keep with these. You got these brothers, you know, they're above and beyond, man. You know, they goes down on the feast days, man. This Esther chapter 9 and verse 27. I'll say that 26. Wherefore they called these days Purim after the days of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they have seen concerning this matter and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their time appointed every year. Now, I'm going to jump down. Bear with me. I want to go to Esther. This is Esther 8 and 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. And that's how it's going to be in the last days. A lot of people are going to try to become Jews, man, meaning cleave. When we take these other nations down, they're going to become Jews, man. They're going to have to keep the commandments. It doesn't mean literally by bloodline. I got to clarify that. Doesn't mean they're going to be spiritual Israelites. It means they're going to be forced to keep the law and commandments by force, and they're going to cleave to the house of Jacob, fulfilling the prophecy of Isaiah the 14th chapter and Zechariah chapter 8 and 20 on down. So they're going to cleave, man, because they're going to see that the Most High is with us. You got it, King. You on mute.
Right, man.
So then we got, I was going to say, we got to touch on destruction of Nicanor for a quick point, too.
Con, you got it.
Now go ahead, King. You got a precept?
Con, I go into it. All right. Let me get Second Maccabees. Right, chapter 15. All right. Jump straight into it. The Second Maccabees, chapter 15. And I'm gonna start at this whole 15th chapter is mean. But I'm gonna start at verse 23. All right, this whole account is mean. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. I know you want to get in there. This whole thing, you gotta jump into Maccabees, man. If it's some accounts or one accounts in the scriptures that'll get you ready for war, get you ready for vengeance, give you a glimpse and just a speckle of sand of how it's going to be in the kingdom, how we're going to take down these enemies, and how we were in charge and rulership and had war tactics and we ruled and we knew how to fight and we led in battle. It's the Maccabees, man. You got David and the hit squad, the mighty men, right? You got the Assyrians, you got the Maccabees, you got all of these men. They were on fire in this thing. You got Joshua and the men of war, right? These men were actually in this thing, man. You got Abraham and his armed servants, right? These were military war, the way they was moving, right? Let me get Second Maccabees, chapter 15 and verse 23. It says, wherefore now also, O Lord of heaven, send a good angel before us. Because you got all type of angels. You got angels of death, right? You got all types of angels in this thing. Hey, send a good angel that's going to fight and protect us, not overthrow us, before us for a fear and dread unto them. And though, and through the might of thine arm, let those be stricken with terror that come against thy holy people, to blaspheme and to, and he ended thus. Then Nicanor, and that just shows you the mentality of our forefathers, man. They wasn't crying, they wasn't weeping, they wasn't playing rock, paper, scissors. It wasn't pushing each other. Now you got a little brother in the house and you pushing each other. Who's going to do it first type of spirit? No, they were ready to go to war and they were praying and they had strength and might and understanding that the Lord was with them. It says what? And through the might of thine arm, let those be stricken with terror that come against the holy people, to blaspheme. And he ended thus. So he put a spirit through the hand of Yahweh while Yahweh Shah put a spirit of terror on them, man. And that's one of the worst things you can have in a fight is to be scared. The Lord put a terror spirit on you. You're not swinging the same way. You timid. You running. You quick. That sock on your eye hurts 7 times more. You're not on fire to die, man. And the Lord put a spirit on the enemies of that, man. It says what? Then Nicanor and they that were with him came forward with trumpets and songs. But Judas and his company encouraged the enemies. So he encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer. So while one was trying to be intimidating through all of their might on a physical level with physical things they had through their might and their trumpets and their strong bucklers and all of their noise trying to intimidate the men of the Lord. And the men of the Lord were praying, right? It says what? So that fighting with their hands and praying unto God with their hearts, they slew no less than 35,000 men. For though the appearance of God, they were greatly cheered. Right? And I'm gonna jump down to verse 35. I'm gonna let you get in there. It says, he hanged also Nicanor's head upon the tower, and eventide and manifest sign to all the help of the Lord, man. Imagine that, man. Nicanor's head. That's a physical sign. You know, when you do something, you got a physical time, you so-called win a championship, and then they give you a trophy. You win the race thing and you win the Olympics, they give you a gold medal. Hey, our reward was our enemy's head, man. Did not David chop off Goliath? Didn't that these things come to pass? That's a token. You got your enemy's head and you raising it up, man. All the nation will go crazy, man. So these days are coming back on the earth. The Lord is a man of war. You got it.
Hey, man. And that's how it's going to be in the days to come, man. These elites, you're going to be holding up their head. Judah did that, man. And they chopped his head off and hung it up, man. That's how we got down in the ancient world, man. And we chopped our people's toes, chopped our people's thumbs, had our foot on people's neck. So our men was warriors, man, like the brother said, men of might. Everybody talks about the love and the hugs, but they don't talk about how the Most High uses us to kill other nations. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to show you one thing. I don't think this is too graphic for the channel, but they did this to us, man. That's on a stick.
Yep.
That's on a stick. And they did this to us, man.
Come.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Come. So, I mean, what do you think we're going to do to them, man? And we're going to chop off their right shoulder and their tongue. And you got a lot of brothers, well, I don't want to do that. I just want the kingdom. Well, brother, you may not get the kingdom because your mind not right. You still thinking you're too soft. I just want to fish in the kingdom. Y'all could do all of the killing. Just want to go fishing on the banks of the Jordan and put my toes in the sand. Y'all let me know how that war was. Hey, leave that brother away from me, man. He just wants to go fishing, put his toes in the sand, but he don't want to get down and dirty. He want to watch the women and the stuff. Can I watch this stuff? All right, yeah, brother, you can watch this stuff, but don't come around me after this, man. Right? This is Jeremiah 48:10. Cursed. The Lord said, cursed be he, Salakia, that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Hey, so the Most High will destroy you, man. If you keep back your sword from blood, the general told you to go to war, and you put your shield up to take out your fishing rod to catch a damn sea snapper, and the Most High is going to kill you, man. You're going to come with that big that sea snapper attached on that line saying, Lord, look what I caught. It's a big one, ain't he? There's got to be the record. And the Lord don't want to hear that, man. He don't want to take a picture with you next to a damn red snapper, man, in the kingdom while he's at war. You know, the Lord likes bloodshed, man. He's a man of war. He don't care about you and what you got in your hobbies. When it's time for war, it's time for war. All that crocheting and knitting, all that stuff is going to stay behind, man. Now I want to go back to 2 Maccabees, right? Let's go back to 2 Maccabees, chapter 15. Now Nicanor is a so-called white man. He's a general. He's a real life man that existed, a general who worked under the Seleucid dynasty, chiefly under Antiochus Epiphanes IV. You had major generals like Georgius, Lysias, and the last man they sent to take us down was Nicanor. They thought he could do it, and he blasphemed the Most High. Ain't no Most High, ain't no damn Sabbath day, and he was scoffing heavy. Now I'm gonna jump down. Yeah, this whole chapter, man, and this is the day before Purim, right? This would be your so-called Saturday night. And if you don't have the calendar, we'll post the calendar again on social media, right? And we'll post the calendar on the Watchmen for Israel IG, just so you can have the calendar again. So real quick, you have your Sabbath, Friday night to Saturday night. No buying and selling, no work. Saturday night is the destruction of Nicanor. If you can buy things beforehand, buy things beforehand. You understand? In the ancient world, we was all congregating. They wasn't setting up shop and stuff like that. That's Nehemiah 10:31. right? So they really wasn't buying on holy days because nobody was out there laboring. You understand? They was out there congregating and eating and drinking and being married. So if you can do so, right? Purim is Sunday night to Monday night, and then Monday night to Tuesday night. Now, if you can get off of work and you have that free time, get off of work. Don't save that day for the Super Bowl or for I don't know, or the NBA Finals or whatever, or your great niece's third grade graduation. Here you have one day off or multiple days off, but one of the days you're saving for your third grade niece's graduation, but you can get Purim off. Hey, I would choose Purim, man. I'm not going to my my 8-year-old niece's graduation, so they could dress up like what's that, Fresh Prince, like a damn sunflower, and go on stage, man. You know, so if you can get off, hey, get off. I know it's tight. We in this captivity. You know, you got them hours and Esau whipping our ass. But if you got them PTO, whatever, hey, use that thing, man. You know, if you get sick, I get sick all the time at work, man. I get sick of this captivity. You know, so I'm out of there sometimes, man. Now, this second Maccabees chapter 15, and where you stop at, King? 33, 36? No, you read
35.
All right, I'll read 36. And they ordained the second Maccabees 15 to 36. And they ordained with a common decree and no case to let that day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is called Adar, the day before Mardikia's day, or really Mordecai's day. So another day for Purim is Mordecai's day. Thus went it with Nicanor, and from that time forth the Hebrews had the city in their power. And here will I make an end. So that's the point of the matter. So that day is a holy day. Congregating, eating, drinking, being merry. That day falls Saturday night. So you prepare. If you want to give portions to the poor, get your stuff this week. You got a few extra dollars in your check or your account. You want to give gifts or portions to your brother. You want to be charitable and give alms, do so. You know, order your packages, get some, brothers have businesses, and see if you can get that done quick and set it aside and get into the spirit of these feast days, man. And you got into for Christmas. You marking your calendar down for Christmas. You marking your calendar down to show up to Auntie Lorraine's house for Thanksgiving to eat her famous mac and cheese. How much more for this feast days coming up? These are 2 back-to-back feast days and 4 holy days back-to-back, really, because you got the Sabbath, you got Nicanor, and you got 2 days of Purim. So you got 4 holy days back-to-back to back-to-back. So you got to get in the spirit in these days, man, and turn up. If you see a nice garment that you want to wear, hey, buy that garment, man. Don't say, well, I'm wicked. You got a rope tied with a ball on a knot, hang yourself in the back. I'm just so wicked. With the lights off, man. Beating a hole in your back, flat with the damn flagging, man. Who the hell am I? I'm dust and ashes. No, brother, wipe that blood off your back, burn that nasty rope, and buy that garment, man. And if it's some nice lamb, you normally don't get that lamb. Hey, buy that lamb now, man. You always see it, but you're like, I don't really. Hey, buy it, man. It's a feast day. What are you waiting on? It may not be another one. Well, I don't really want to get that oil for my beard. I don't deserve it. Brother, get that oil for your beard, brother. Should it be shiny? Should I put some shine on my beard? I know I'm in captivity. Brother, like I said, if you don't know how to keep the feast day, we'll show you, man. But you got it, King.
Calm.
Hey, Slucky, one more quick point.
You got it.
Hey, you sisters, hey, get that dress you like, man. You keep passing that dress. Every time you see it, I don't want to get it. It's not right. Hey, buy that dress, man. Get that hair right. Get them earrings you like. It's a feast day. Hey, get one if you got more. Hey, get one for your sister, man. Show that love and that charity to your nation. Hey, give to the poor. You may set aside, okay, I'm gonna give a few to the poor. I'm gonna set this out for the poor, the people, and you get into this thing. You got it.
I want to get that real fast too. And don't be emphasized too much on a joyous part and not give charity or any alms and gifts either. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what this whole thing is about. Everything is set in a balance, right? Let me get that real fast. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse number 13. I'm going to start at 1, then I'm going to jump down to 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Meaning you could speak Greek, Latin, Hebrew, Dutch. You can go into all of these different languages and tongues. But if you don't have charity, that's not pleasing the Lord, man. You know, you could recite all of these different things. You could speak the Hebrew, the Latin, the Greek, the English, and you reaching all of these people and breaking it down and you saying all of these prayers. That's not impressive to the Lord, man. If you don't have charity, you don't have anything. When it's all said and done, all the books you done read, all the times you done fasted, all the times you done did whatever you got to do, even counsel, man. Whatever the case may be, if you're not ready to get a shirt off your back, labor, help your brethren, give to the homeless, you understand, food, shelter, clothing, whatever the case may be, you don't have anything, man. A lot of men going to get destroyed in that day because they didn't have no charity. They read that precept 97 times and they never applied it. They applied everything else but that because it doesn't seem that serious to them. Or that doesn't seem that mighty. Shaking the hand seems mighty, right? Damn reading about destruction seems mighty. Whatever the case may be, having a feast day and being the main one that's bringing the turkey, that seems mighty. It says, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains, man. And that's a lot of faith to remove a mountain. A mountain isn't a physical mountain. It don't mean you're going to start doing magic. That's not what that's talking about, man. You can move any obstacle in your life, whether that be a damn rent, somebody trying to kill you, right? Tribulations, right? Addictions, drugs, past friends, anything that's in your life through faith, you can move that mountain, that big obstacle standing in your way, preventing you from your path. It says what? And have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor and have Salakia, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. So it's more than just giving to the poor. You got to prophesy to the poor. You got to be there for the poor. It's not just giving one time. You got to have charity all the time. Now, when you jump to verse 13, right? It says what? I'm gonna start at 13. And now about the faith, hope, charity. And faith is on a high level, man. If you have faith, amen, you're going to endure unto the end. Because the Lord said, when he comes, shall he find faith on earth, paraphrase. In the book of Luke, chapter 18 and verse 7 all the way down. So faith is very important. If you don't have faith, you don't have anything. It says faith, hope. And you got to hope you're going to get out of here. You can have all of the faith you're going to endure, but if you faint in waiting for that hope, you got to hope for it. Man, I hope every day this place burns. I hope every day that my damn job come bust in the flames, man. I hope every day that the Lord has mercy upon me till I endure to the end. Faith is very important. When Yahweh Shai said what? After thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren, man. So you got to be strengthened in this thing and have faith. You also got to hope to the end. That's very important. And charity. These three, but the greatest of these is charity. So this ties into what? Purim also. Reading 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. 2 Corinthians, the 9th chapter. Tobit, the 4th chapter. Sirach, the 4th chapter. All of these various precepts and books and chapters going into charity is a must during this day also. So you got to link these things in and take these precepts and apply them in the last days. This may be our last Purim, huh? You look back and think from all the Passovers that we've had before, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Memorial of the Trumpets, and all of these things, each one is just coming closer to destruction. Things are closing down. Earthquakes, wars on the rise. War is here, man. It's been on the rise. It's here. He's just waiting for a button to get pushed, or for the wrong word to be said. And all hell going to break loose. EMP attacks, massive earthquakes, tsunamis. Right? This whole world is in shambles. This may be our last Purim. So brothers and sisters, make sure through the spirit You're doing everything you can do to apply. And men, hey man, I'm talking to the brothers right now. Take care of your household. Don't have your rib hitting up brothers on the internet. How do I keep it? What do I do? I don't know. I'm in a muck. I'm in my wits' end. But brother, learn, man. Take care of your household. Make sure you're setting things up in order, because your wife is going to follow and your children. So if you haven't catched everything, watch this breakdown over and over. And through the spirit, I'm sure a brother may touch on it again throughout the week with a Q&A, right? Or a Vashti questionnaire, or just touch on it again with a cold cut. What you got?
That's it on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Closing precept.
I
jump in. So, hey man, this is not a joke. This is very serious. And you don't want to treat a high holy day like it's not that important. It's very important, man. You don't keep it, you're not keeping the words of Yahushua. You got to look at it like that, man. And don't be you want to keep Purim, but you don't want to keep the Day of Atonement. You got to flick yourself. You got, hey man, this is the word of Yahushua, man. All of this is good to my tasting, man. Right? Let me bring out the class. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse number 2. The Lord said, be watchful. That's a commandment. That's not advice. The Lord said, be watchful. You have to be watchful. You have to watch your spirit, your household, your brethren. You have to watch your nation and help them. And you also have to watch these prophecies. These things are very important. And strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. So there's always something to examine yourself in every single day, whether that's your fasting, your reading, your praying, or even just how you read, man. Maybe you read, but you're just reading over words and not ingesting them, and it's not going down right. You're not perceiving them and understanding them. Whatever it is, make sure that you're examining and watching. It says what? Remember, therefore, how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast, and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come upon thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching these prophecies and what's kicking off and coming upon the earth, and the Lord is going to visit you like a thief in the night. And before you know it, you're going to be destroyed in the land of the living. So continue to read, pray, and fast, and be diligent and on fire, and keep the day of Purim, the memorial of destruction.
And I'm gonna go to the classic in Revelation chapter 22 and 12. These are the words of Hamashiach Wamalak Yahushua. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. And the Lord is coming quickly, man. Every day prophecy is coming to pass. I mean, at any given second, you can have World War III kick off. You have NATO falling apart. The 10 toes are being divided. You have pestilence at a phenomenal rate. You have destruction happening. You have all types of earthquakes. You have the Israelites waking up. Stores are closing down. This is it, man. Truckers are protesting. The shelves are empty. And the Lord, and it's happening every day, and things are speeding up. So the Lord is coming quickly. All hell could break loose literally any second. That's Matthew 24 and 44. Yahushua said, for in such an hour as they think not, the Son of Man cometh, when you least expect it, if you're not watching. And the Most High said through his son Yahushua, to give every man, it's like, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So that's work on yourself, that's work in your household, serving the Most High, keeping the commandments, building up the faith, praying, fasting, studying, alms, charity, loving your nation, repentance. All of these are works, and the Most High is going to weigh it all in the balance. And if you come up short, you're going to be out of here. You're going to be destroyed. All it takes is that one day off, right? That one day you decided you didn't want to fast, or that 1 week you decide, okay, I don't feel like praying this week. I'm going to do it next week. And you're out of there, man. And the Lord is trimming the fat, and he's cutting off the loose ends, man. Now you cut off your loose ends on your beard or a woman or her. Hey, the Lord is cutting it off, man. He's trimming the fat. You know, he's cutting people from the roster, if you can understand. And if you don't make the team, hey, you out of there, man. You know? But with that, it's been a Monday Night Fire, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushua. We'll open up the floor for questions. The number posted is 213-603-9096. And the PIN number is 94809-305. So if you have any questions about the lesson or about the word in general, we'll take questions for 60 minutes, most high willing, give or take. And our most high willing, everybody and brothers and sisters was edified and keeping these high holy days. With that, Brother Naquam.
Shalom, Brother Right.